all through 2024, I spotlighted every chart analyst I could find who confidently predicted XRP was gearing up for a massive breakout. While their reasons varied slightly, nearly every single one agreed on one key point. XRP had been stuck in a 7-year-long consolidation phase within a symmetrical triangle. The consensus? It was destined to break out upward before reaching the triangle's apex. Translation: an explosive skyward move was just around the corner. You couldn't pinpoint the exact moment, but based on historical trends and where we seem to be in this bull run, especially considering the patterns that follow US elections, there was plenty of reason to feel optimistic as the year unfolded. And when the breakout finally happened, it felt like the anticipation had been building all year long. Now, let me introduce you to an analyst who nailed this prediction. He saw it coming, and now he's made another bold call. If he's right this time, don't be shocked if XRP soars to $37. Just to clarify, if you followed me for a while, you know this. I don't make price predictions. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know what's coming next. I've got a pretty strong hunch about where things might be headed in the market. While I don't have a crystal ball, let's just say I'm not short on opinions about whether we're in a bull run, a bear slump, or somewhere at the peak. That said, if my hunch is on target, it's entirely reasonable to think XRP could be hitting that mark. And I'll explain why in just a moment. But first, let me be clear. I'm not a financial expert. Nothing I say here is financial advice. Seriously, don't make any investment decisions based on what I share. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves diving into these topics and making videos about them for fun. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to it. The analyst I'm referring to here is Crypto Rover, a big name in the crypto space with a massive following of 1 million on social media platform X. And honestly, I find their take pretty fascinating. I don't always agree with everything this account puts out, and that's perfectly fine. I'm all for a diversity of perspectives. Some of their takes feel a bit out there, but credit where it's due. They nailed the call on XRP's breakout. Honestly, it wasn't rocket science. If you weren't stuck in an echo chamber or suffering from XRP derangement syndrome, the evidence was there for anyone to see. The historic precedent was clear, the data lined up perfectly, and yet some folks just refused to acknowledge it. But for everyone else paying attention, it was obvious XRP was primed to rise. So, props to those who got it right. Here's a shout out to Crypto Rover, who shared this prediction with 1 million followers on X back on August 18th, 2024. About 2.5 months before XRP began soaring, he predicted it. XRP is gearing up for a huge breakout. Now, while he didn't chart the full symmetrical triangle stretching back nearly 7 years, which is totally fine, many analysts don't, you could still see the pattern. Even just tracing it back through the last cycle, the narrowing range of volatility was clear. It was destined to break before hitting the apex, which would have been sometime in late 2024. Fast forward to January 16th, 2025, an unforgettable day. XRP finally hit a new all-time high. After holding it for over 7 years, that moment felt like pure vindication. What a day. A mix of relief and celebrations swept over the community. But here's the thing. What's even more thrilling is what comes next. Price discovery and an explosive move to the upside. That's the real excitement on the horizon. And in my view, it's only a matter of time. Crypto Rover nailed it, celebrating the milestone with a post, XRP hits a new all-time high. It caught some by surprise, but for those of us who've been here all along, this is just the beginning. He probably meant come, but hey, who actually reads before hitting publish? Not me, apparently. Anyway, well-deserved recognition, right? You love to see it. Totally agree on that one. But let's talk about this for a second. Here's a fresh post, literally from this morning. It's an Ethereum price chart. Ethereum versus USD. And the bold claim? A breakout price target of $18,000. He's sketched out Ethereum's movement here, showing another symmetrical triangle. If you look back through the last cycle, there's a clear narrowing range of volatility. So if this breaks and we're truly in a bull market, an upward rip feels likely. Honestly, it makes sense to me. I just can't get behind the idea that this cycle's high is already behind us. I've been breaking down the reasons for a while now. You don't need to be a hardcore chart expert to spot historical patterns and recognize what real top indicators actually look like. I'm just a regular guy, like the rest of you, trying to figure all this out. You don't need a financial background to spot certain patterns. We can all make sense of things if we dig into the right signals. Look at history, look at the big indicators. And right now, they're just not there yet. I broke a lot of this down in my last video, diving into things like Bitcoin dominance and whale accumulation. Spoiler alert, the whales rarely make mistakes. There's a whole bunch of factors to consider, and if you're paying attention, the story starts to unfold. When this thing finally breaks, and it will sooner or later, the big question is, up or down? Sure, there's always the possibility of some short-term dip, but here's the kicker. Most analysts I follow are calling for a major breakout to the upside. I've been diving into this in my recent videos, and the sentiment is clear. This could be a game changer. Now, if you're an XRP holder, pay attention because this matters in a big way. The real question isn't if it'll move, but how far it'll go. While I don't do price predictions, and I never will, the potential here is hard to ignore. Let's break it down. I'm not exactly a charts guy, so take this with a grain of salt. But is $18,000 for Ethereum this cycle really that crazy? Honestly, no. I'm a bit skeptical it'll get there, but it's not impossible. Far from it. And that's where things get exciting. If Ethereum did hit $18,000, what would that mean for XRP? Because let's face it, it's not a wild concept. It could absolutely happen. Now let's do some quick math. At $18,000, Ethereum's market cap would sit around $2.1 trillion. That means Bitcoin's valuation would likely be even higher, and the entire crypto market could hit insane new highs, maybe $10 trillion or more this cycle. Imagine that for a second. It's worth noting that XRP has some history to flex here. Back in 2017 and 2018, before the SEC started holding it back, XRP gave Ethereum a serious run for its money, battling for the #2 spot in market cap. And get this, XRP actually claimed that spot at least 4 times in its history. That's right, XRP has proven it can rise to the top when the playing field is fair. You just love to see it, don't you? XRP just works. It's as simple as that. On a global scale, it's no surprise that crypto investors are drawn to it, and for good reason. Don't be shocked if XRP starts eyeing that #2 spot. If it overtakes Ethereum and hits a market cap of $2.1 trillion, we're looking at an XRP price of $37. While I admit this scenario is possible, it's not exactly my baseline prediction. If I had to wager, I'd lean towards skepticism. Ethereum hitting those heights and XRP matching it feels unlikely to me. But here's the exciting part. Even if we're way off, say by half, XRP could still end up around $20. Half may not sound perfect, but it's still a pretty thrilling prospect, isn't it? Many analysts agree. It makes perfect sense for Bitcoin to settle in that $15 to $20 range. The question is, what happens next? Here's the thing. While we all know crypto can deliver explosive moves, the real question is whether enough money will flow into Bitcoin to trigger profits shifting into altcoins like Ethereum and XRP. Will we see those levels? Maybe. There's no crystal ball, but here's the exciting part. Even if you're way off, the potential gains are still wild. Imagine Ethereum hitting $10,000. If XRP matched that market cap, it could soar past $20. That's not wishful thinking. It's plausible. Here's a funny twist. I came across a meme on X that cracked me up. It showed Vitalik Buterin looking, let's say, a little older, with the caption, "Breaking news, Ethereum finally hits $5,000. I had to share it because, let's face it, for most of the past few years, nobody would have imagined that. Crypto keeps surprising us, and that's part of the thrill. You know the memes, those classic shots of Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse, aged up to look like he's 90, with captions like, XRP finally hits $1. Not anymore though. As Michael Scott would say, well, how the turntables. Gotta love it, right? Now let's shift gears. I genuinely believe there's a solid argument that ETH has hit its bottom. I touched on this in my last video, so I won't dive too deep, but take a look at the ETH BTC chart. Every time ETH has been this undervalued against Bitcoin, it's been pure liftoff. Seriously, check the history going back to 2016. Last cycle, ETH came close to this level, and look where it went from there. Markets find their bottoms, folks. That's why when I see posts like this one from chart analyst Dark Defender, I can't help but pay attention. A few days ago, they shared this. When most people focus on XRP's correction, XRP confidently moves toward its targets. And honestly, that's the energy we need. The next major Fibonacci level to watch is $5.85, a critical point for XRP. This pattern mirrors the 2017 movement, where XRP surged after breaking through 2 significant resistance levels. If you look closely at the chart, you'll see the higher Fibonacci level being highlighted, hinting at some serious potential. While the tweet accompanying this chart doesn't explicitly mention the price, the image speaks volumes. The buzz is building around XRP potentially climbing near $18 during this cycle. Imagine that, an $18 price tag. Even if it hits just half of the ambitious $37 target some are speculating, that's still an incredible multiplier for XRP holders. It's hard not to feel the excitement right now. Adding to the hype, chart analyst Greg Crypto recently shared an insightful XRP/USD chart. Let's dive into what he's saying about this rocket-like potential for XRP. He asked, "What's going on with XRP?" Well, here's the scoop. XRP has broken out of the white channel and is holding steady above it, a highly bullish signal that often sparks strong momentum, especially on the monthly chart. Take a look at the chart, to your left, but hey, depending on where you're reading this, it might actually be below. It outlines two intriguing scenarios for XRP's next move. Scenario 1. The white channel breakout targets a measured move. If it hits, we're talking about XRP reaching $7.50 or more. Exciting, right? But here's where it gets even juicier. Scenario 2. A potential repeat of XRP's legendary 2017 Wave 3. Back then, XRP skyrocketed 2,300% after breaking a similar structure. If history repeats itself and XRP closes above the white channel, we could see it shoot all the way to $44. Yes, $44. Crazy? Maybe, but completely out of the realm of possibility? Not at all. This kind of explosive rally has happened before. It's not my main prediction, and honestly, if I had to guess, I'd say no, it probably won't hit that level. But here's the exciting part. Even if that number ends up being exaggerated by half, wow, we're still talking about life-changing wealth for so many people. It's going to be absolutely wild. And look, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just not something I'm personally banking on. But hey, if you're someone who believes there's a good chance it could happen, maybe you're right. We'll find out soon enough. I'm always open to sharing opinions that differ from mine. No problem there. Now, in terms of how confident someone might be about this, I couldn't tell you exactly what percentage they'd assign to it becoming reality. But we've all seen massive moves in the past, haven't we? That said, it's true that from one market cycle to the next, gains tend to shrink. Of course, XRP has been held back in some ways, so who knows what's in store this time. Normally, though, you'd expect the jumps to be smaller, just as we've seen with Bitcoin over time. XRP has been held back for so long, but now it's finally gaining momentum, with new investors pouring in every day. That's why XRP is primed to be one of the biggest success stories of this market cycle. We've been on the right track, and we'll stay on it. It's just a matter of how far this ride will take us. By the end of the cycle, Bitcoin maximalists who aren't already losing sleep will definitely feel the heat. I'd bet on that with 100% confidence. But hey, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say. Seriously, that would not be the smartest move.